everyone, what's up? It's your girl, Donita Divine. Welcome to another episode of Wind Down Wednesday podcast. If you're new here, this podcast is about real talk, shared experiences, and connecting with the community. Today we're diving into something that might feel a little heavy, but it's super important. Family planning, especially for the older parents and those of us with older parents. So now this is personal for me because my mom just turned 73. And let me tell you, she got her ducks in a row. She's planned for, I'm not going to say everything, but she's planned for the most important thing, like life insurance and what goes where and what goes to who. And I truly appreciate that. And it got me thinking about how many of us could use a little nudge and to start planning this type of stuff, or even start talking about these type of things. You know, we get with our closest friends and we talk about traveling, about the best restaurants, your outfit, what your kid did in school. But we don't talk about those really deep diving conversations that really matters because, life is unpredictable. By the way, have y'all heard about those after death books, or those like, now that I'm gone, here's what you need to do, like planners? They are trending, and for good reason. But we're going to get into all of that later. Life insurance, making sure your family is set up, and even planning for those common law relationships. It's going to be real, it's going to be practical, and hopefully it'll feel like we're just talking at the kitchen table, honey. So grab your drink and let's dive in. So let's talk about why family planning is important. And understand that it isn't just for new parents. Family planning is so important for all of us. Whether you are in your 30s, your 50s, or 70s, having a plan in place is a gift to your family. Recently, I've already been to 2 funerals this year, and you never know. The person may have been battling with something throughout the years, but you wonder, do they have their life insurance in place? Do they have any family planning in place? Do they have a plan? And I wish that we would talk more about this. So one big part of that is life insurance. Like I mentioned, most of us think about life insurance is just a thing that we get through work, right? Yeah, no. And a lot of us just stop at using the life insurance that we get at work. But what happens if you switch jobs? Or God forbid, if you lose that job? What happens to your coverage? That's why you need coverage outside of your employer. And if you're an entrepreneur, like so many of us are, you already know the importance of having health and life insurance in place. Not just for yourself, but for your kids and your spouse. And listen, let's not forget about the people we don't always plan for. What if you are in a common law relationship you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, you guys have been together for like 10 to 20 years, but they are not legally your spouse? What happens if they pass away? What if they have this amazing Rolex collection or assets you didn't think about? If there's no will in place, you could end up with nothing. Just saying. They may have family that's saying, hey, That's Lil Ray Ray was my brother. That was my son. And everything Lil Ray Ray had belongs to us. Now, if Ray Ray lived with you and had this amazing Rolex collection, it would be debatable who it belongs to because it's in your home, it's in your possession. But if the family knows about it and he has, had insurance over it and all of this stuff, and you weren't the beneficiary, yeah, that is something to talk about. So you don't want to end up with nothing. And it's not just about covering yourself. It's making sure that everyone knows what's what. And making sure that everyone in your circle has a plan too. Okay, so let's get into these after death books. Or what now that I'm dead, here's what you need to do planner. I personally love those. At first I thought it sounded a little morbid, but the more that I thought about it and the more that I really thought about it, I realized how brilliant this is. It's not just a book, but it's a guide that spells out everything for your family if something was to happen to you or me. Like, it has all the important numbers. Because, when you are in the midst of grieving, you don't have time to really look for stuff. Imagine this. Imagine your kids don't have to dig through the drawers and look for your insurance policy and guess what kind of funeral you want. So yeah, fun fact. I always joke that, I don't want to be laying down. I want to be sitting up greeting like I'm greeting people at my funeral. People think I'm crazy, but it's one of my things that I say. Do I really want it? I don't know if I want that. So I need to make sure that I have what I really and truly want, what color I want to wear, or whatever, in a journal, written down, so they know exactly what I want. So everything is laid out. So they don't have me propped up in a throne chair because they like, she said this was she wanted, because I was joking. So, but if you have a document already laid out for everyone, it makes the decision making so much easier. You can even leave your personal notes for your family, which I think is such a beautiful idea. Maybe a little scary, but it's very touching. And let's not forget, it's not just about your planning. Do your kids know how to handle their finances? My daughter's 16. I'm gonna say no. Do they have insurance set up for a rainy day? That's important to know. Like, are my kids gonna be well taken care of? Because life insurance isn't about the death benefit. It can also be a financial tool. So that's what a lot of people don't realize about life insurance. You can withdraw money from your life insurance when you need it down the line. But you have to put money into it though. So it's always important to really start young. So when you're getting older, then you have those big things that you need to use it for, you'll have that. It's something, it's something that a lot of people don't realize. Teach your kids early so they will be set up for success later. Period. So I get it. Talking about this type of stuff can feel awkward. Nobody wants to think about losing loved ones. But here's the thing. It's not about being morbid. It's about making life easier for the people you love. Real talk. It's time to start that conversation. Sit down with your spouse and your kids and even your parents. Talk about what everyone wants and what everyone has. Because planning isn't about you, it's about the people around you. And don't just talk to your spouse, talk to your siblings. Because if you come from a big family like we do, and one of your siblings don't have a spouse, don't have kids, and something happened to them, who's going to be in charge of making sure they're okay? Their other immediate families, which is their siblings. So make sure that you talk to your sister and brother and say, hey, I noticed that you're not working. Do you have life insurance? Who is your beneficiary? Because all of that matters. And for the parents out there, this is the way to teach your kids responsibility too. Show them the ropes early. They're not blindsided later. If they learn and know how to save, invest, and uses that life insurance as a tool, they would be miles ahead of the game. I just found out about 5 years ago, and that's real talk. All right, that's it for today. And if there's one thing I want you to do, all right, that's it for today. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, is this: planning is an act of love. Whether it's life insurance or an after death book or just a simple conversation, it's about making things easier for your family. So I'm challenging you this week to talk to someone you love about this type of stuff. Start small, but start. People always tell me, like, you ask all these crazy questions. Are you interrogating? Are you interviewing me? No, I want us to get past that very superficial conversation and really talk about stuff that matters. If you are an entrepreneur and you don't have a full-time job, don't only get insurance, and you have kids, don't only get insurance for yourself. Make sure you have insurance on your kids. Because God forbid if something happens to them, who's going to cover it? Your life insurance is not going to cover them. Make sure you have something on your spouse. And for that common law relationship, make sure you write something up so mom and them is not going to be coming looking for all your Jordans or going through your bank accounts, wiping you clean when you and this person had already built their life together. And now also, people that have worked jobs for years and just let and pay on life insurance. Remember, you may not even be in that same relationship. Check your beneficiary. That is so important. You may have been head over heels with Lil Jon way back in the day, but since then, you're on with someone else. Did you change your beneficiary? Did you change those details? So it's time to start having these conversations. Let me know down in the comments, once you start having those comments, how it went. I would love to hear your stories. I would love to hear what you guys do in your family. Do you have one of those books, those life after death? I think it's saying, now it's your problem, I'm gone now, or all these crazy little topics. Headings for the books. They are hilariously funny, and it kind of helps you think of it as a fun task more than a daunting, scary task. I know some people may feel like if I start planning, it might jinx me, but imagine what happens if you don't plan. Imagine what happens to your family trying to find all of these things about you. So I'm going to start. We've started a little bit, but now that I'm really thinking about it, like every time my mother tells me, you know what my insurance information is, I know I filed it away, but having a dedicated folder with her information is going to be so much more easier for anyone. So in case something happened to me, I need to be able to pass it to my brother. If something happens, you know what I mean? I need to be able to say, like, oh, this is the folder for that. I need to have a folder for my family. So we talk about all of these things. What do you want to wear? What do you want to do with your house? Make sure you start planning this. Estate planning is so important, because what happens is, if you don't, and you have property and you don't have a will or some type of documentation telling the courts where you want it to go, you would have to then go pay probate to get these items. So if you're living in the home with your mama passed away, your name is not on the house, what happens to the house? You have to start having these conversations while everyone is in their right minds, and start making the choices to do what's right now, because God forbid something happens and now you're frantic or you get kicked out of your home. I sat down and did a podcast with Catrice Matthews. We talked about these things and it made so much more sense. And yet a lot of people don't want to pay to get this set up right away, right now, because they rather go buy their Louis bags and go on vacations. I get it, me too. But it's going to cost you at least $5,000 later to go to court. So it's always best to take care of the things ahead of time, so you're not playing catch up later. So like I said, I would love to hear your stories. So don't forget to leave them down in the comments. So until then, take care, and remember, planning today means a peace of mind tomorrow. That's it. I'm your girl, Donita Divine. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you can get notified when I drop a new video. Until the next time, stay tuned and be divine.